What's up, guys? I'm a fish, and today I'm going to be continuing my Humanity Restart series. In the last video, we saw the religious conflicts in Europe come to a close, with Germany, Prussia, uh, Gascony, and Italy here. They were victorious. Oh, and France, they were present too. Um, Now Croatia no longer exists as a state. Bulgaria is a little bit bigger, despite being on Croatia's side. Poland is now a puppet state of Prussia. Hold on, let me turn on cities real quick. And Germany now connects the Adriatic to the North Sea. So yeah. Um, okay. 2 episodes ago, I said that we would. Last episode, I said that we would end off where that we would start this episode continuing where I left off the episode before that, and where that was Quebec here discovering Britain's colony in Iceland and conquering it. And a little bit after they conquer this colony, they're searching, like they find maps of the mainland. And suddenly they realize that this wasn't just a small place that they had never discovered yet. There is much more to this new world. I'm going to color in everything that they haven't discovered yet. Obviously, everything over here in the west area, if they've discovered that, hold on, I'm just gonna. Oh no. So yeah, this is really all they know about here. But after finding these maps, they're going to start searching down this way. They're going to discover this island, and then they're going to discover the British Isles. They're not going to know anything of Europe further than that point just yet. So this shows there's two separate layers now. So yeah, the lighter gray here, you can see this is where everywhere that the New World they already know about, but the Old World does not know about. They know about Britain here, and that is it. And speaking of Britain, finally, when they discover the inhabited islands, Quebec is going to immediately order, the leader is going to immediately order that that Britain be conquered, basically. Every civilization that they've discovered, they know that they're weak enough for Quebec to just walk in and conquer. And it's going to start with, obviously, these islands here. Then they are going to make their first landing here in Ireland. They're going to flood down the island, immediately capturing two major cities, going into this country here, conquering the entirety of it. And then, actually, no, because there's a little exclave down there I forgot about. They're going to very quickly conquer the entire island. Shortly after that initial landing, there's going to be another landing here in these islands, which will allow for Quebec to make another landing on the mainland and begin conquering. And this is what the front lines are going to look like after a matter of days. Days after the initial landing. There will be more landings, one over here across this little gap here, the other in the capital of the United Kingdom. And then a third down here in Cornwall. It's just going to die immediately. And Quebec is... I'm going to turn up the pitch size for this. The UK just... They don't stand a chance. Much better technology, much more soldiers, because there's lots more people over here. Yeah. So, let's look at the peace treaty. The entirety is going to be annexed under a new colony. Let's go to capital cities here, and we erase that one, erase those two. And yeah, go ahead and let's turn these off for the time being. Actually, we'll keep that one on. So Europe, slowly Europe will begin to learn about what has just happened here. Um, as ships that approach the island for like commerce, they will be immediately destroyed. Um, they'll recognize that's much more like high tech, not high tech like modern high tech, but no, not like still high tech compared to them. So as word of an outside invading force spreads throughout, very quickly spreads throughout most of the New World, well, some people are going to become terrified. Others are going to deny it, as saying, I mean, there's no way. Like, where would they be coming from? This is the entire world right here. They're going to look at the color and think, what the, maybe South India got all the way up here? And then they're going to compare the colors and go, oh, we're not on the right layer. Then they're going to actually grab the color now on the right layer and compare them and realize, hold on, that's not actually South India. Oh well, sure, I guess Britain just changed their colors. Oh yeah, they all united. That's what it is. They all united and changed colors. Or maybe that red Irish country was a similar. It's like the same. Looked like the same shade. Conquered all of it. Yeah, that must be what happened. Yeah, that's just them. Don't know why their capital is erased. So yeah, that's the idea that most people are going to stick with because they simply cannot believe that there is more to Earth. Um, let's see. Let's turn this layer back on, and you see, okay, Quebec here. These ships, they know these ships are coming from somewhere. It's also really old tech, so they must think that there's more out there, and they're correct, as they very quickly spot the coasts of Normandy and the Netherlands, and even Norway after a bit more exploring. But this isn't the New World isn't the only place where word is spreading. Back in the New World, old world rather, word is spreading of a new continent, and that word is spreading pretty much just as quickly, just about as quickly as in real life when Europe discovered uh, the Americas. And it's only a matter of time before someone else goes to check it out, right? Who is this next person going to be? Well, let's see. All they know is that this supposed new world is in the east somewhere. Um, let's see. You just lost a war. You really can't afford it, and you really don't want to anger Quebec here because they could just invade you and annex you within like a week. Um, Carolina here is really the only, at least North American contender. It's Mexico and Central America here. They got Florida in the way, and Florida might be kind of interested too in checking it out. I mean, they got lots of sea access. They have a good navy. Not as good as Quebec's, but probably better than any of their neighbors. Um, but Carolina is going to be the one making the next move. Carolina is, let me, there we go. They're going to be sending ships directly east, past Bermuda, which I've just decided that they own. They own Bermuda. And they are going to go past all of this. They are going to discover Portugal. And they're going to connect up with what Quebec had discovered. I'm just going to uh, erase all of this. Yeah, they've discovered the Azores. I think that's how that's pronounced. I was always saying Azores until I learned that wasn't how they're pronounced, and I think it's Azores. Anyways, so yeah, they're going to discover Iberia here and North Africa and those islands. Let's just color in all that. And what's going to happen is just about as you would expect. Carolina, just like Quebec here, is going to immediately, well, first, they're going to claim these islands and these islands. And Quebec here is going to claim that island. And then Carolina is going to land in Portugal. A ruined Portugal who has not yet built back up after their loss against everyone. They are going to very quickly fall. And so will pretty much everyone else. And let's look at the peace treaty. Boy, I wonder. Full annexation of Iberia here. And the Balearic Islands. Now, for North Africa. North Africa is going to be smart about this. Clearly, they're not beating Carolina as is with their current technology. And so, they're going to adapt. They're going to look at this new technology and realize they don't know anything about it and are going to continue to get destroyed. Let me turn this layer off because now it's just getting in the way. So with this new technology, Carolina is going to begin flooding up the African coast. Unfortunately, North Africa, knowing they really have no other choice, they're going to start using guerrilla tactics, since, again, they have no other choice. And suddenly, we're going to actually be seeing someone be able to fight back. Even with this advanced technology, guerrilla tactics are simply just working very well. I don't know. We wonder why they didn't decide to use them. And also, this fact that after invading into Iberia here, Carolina doesn't have the largest military invading into North Africa. Lots of their army went back to more developed lands like Bermuda to restock, like resupply. And this is going to eventually just end with Carolina being kicked out of Africa. And there, Carolina's going to go, oh well, you know what? We could probably beat them, but you know what? They're smart. Let's leave them alone for now. Let's regroup and see where we go from there. And now that Carolina has entered Iberia, they have a direct border with the mainland Europe, and now no one can deny what is happening. Well, besides people like, I don't know, way over here, that's not anywhere near this, they can deny it. It's not like they can like scroll on TikTok and see videos of all this happening. No, that's like at least 7 years down the line. So within just 2 quick wars, we've seen Europe change drastically. And it's not only going to be Europe. Because Cascadia here, they want in. They're pretty powerful. They've gained more population from the massive population boom up here in Canada. It hasn't affected them as much as maybe like you were Wisconsin here. Yeah, Wisconsin, or let's go with Alberta. But they have definitely seen population growth, and they are pretty strong. So they just so happen to be right here. So they are going to, let me turn up the brush size, claim those islands, going to claim all of these islands over here, God, I'm going to hate drawing the province borders over here later. And they are going to find Siberia. So they are going to begin invading. They're going to land over here, move forward a bit, realize, wow, this place is worthless, and just leave because it's not worth the effort. So now, yeah, actually, hold on. Let me go over here. Yeah, they've discovered all this, and they've discovered Siberia here, but it's not really worth the effort of a war. So they really just don't. And with all this chaos unfolding in Western Europe here, we're going to see. Let's see. What do you guys think is going to happen? A massive alliance appears in Europe to stop the invaders. B, nothing happens in Europe. Or C, the European nations start fighting each other. If you guessed C, you would be correct. France here, seeing, they know that they don't know it's Carolina, but they know that's this new invading force. Um, one of these new invading forces, because they now recently they've discovered that they are two different forces here, leading them to assume there is outside continents that they did not discover. Oh well. Anyways, seeing that Gascony here, both war torn from the war with uh, all these guys and on the border with a new power. France needs, also, they have Quebec up here. France needs a little bit more strength. They need to prove to these invading powers that they are a force to be reckoned with. And so they are going to be invading Gascony themselves. Gascony was not expecting this at all. They were expecting an invasion from immediate invasion from the south. But now they are being invaded from the north. And guess who wants in on this? Is it A, Italy, B, Carolina, or C, Naples? You, if you guessed Quebec, you would be correct. Except Quebec wants in against France. So yeah, they're going to just begin invading the north here. It's going to go wonderfully. The capital will fall within days. France will be forced to fall back completely, which will allow Gascony to and then start invading themselves. They will meet up with the border with Quebec here, and Quebec is going to keep pushing. Tolerance. Quebec is going to immediately capture all that was left of France and will begin their own invasion into Gascony, immediately capturing Brittany. Okay, I can turn the tolerance back up now. Immediately capturing Brittany and moving down the coastline. At the same time here, Carolina is going to start moving north. I guess northeast. They're going to capture everything south of the Pyrenees Mountains, I believe. You can correct me in the comments. And then they're just gonna, all right, well, there's lots of mountains here. Where do we go next? Oh wait, there's a port city here. And they just go around. Yeah, they capture the capital city and they meet up with Quebec. And now, since two powers are here, they're going to have to draw up a peace treaty instead of just saying, screw you, annex. So, let's look at the peace treaty. This is going to be the peace treaty between Quebec and Carolina here. They're going to go with these borders. I had the idea of completely redrawing the borders in this area just because new rulers, they probably don't care about the old provinces. But that would take way too long, so I decided not to. Okay. They also have a bit of disputed territory over here because there's a major city here that they both want. Um, but yeah, more or less, like they pretty much agreed that because this is roughly where the occupied territory was anyway. So yeah, this is what Western Europe looks like now. And shortly after this whole thing like happens, this whole disputed territory, it's not going to matter at all because Quebec is just gonna buy it. They're gonna give Carolina money to just admit that it's Quebec's, which kind of implies that it formerly belonged to Carolina, so they kind of forfeited their claim. But that doesn't really matter. Anyways, so it's now we're going to after the collapse of France and Gascony here, we're going to be seeing uh, someone actually be smart here. Um, Germany and Prussia here are both incredibly worried because I mean they're next clearly. Um, like if we look at the discovered lands map, you can see that yeah, obviously they share the border with them. Um, they're next on the list, definitely. At least for Quebec, because Quebec's focusing on this area up here. Also, Quebec's also just gonna annex the rest of Iceland. Um, so, what are Prussia and Germany going to do? It's very simple and very kind of what everyone should have done in the first place. Is they're going to make an alliance. It's not. Nope. Yep. They're going to be the Rectangle Alliance, and obviously it's going to consist of those two, their vassals. It's going to consist of Italy, since since they're friendly with Italy. Switzerland is going to decide to join since uh, they border uh, Quebec here. Norway is going to join, and that is all we're going to be seeing for this alliance as of now. So, okay, people from the old world are here now that this new continent is now just confirmed to exist. People are flooding over there. They want to see what this new world is like and maybe start living over here. So we're going to be seeing lots of population growth in the conquered areas and even the not conquered areas. Some people are going into these. A surprising amount of people are going into these European countries just to see what it's like there. Even though those countries are definitely going to get invaded. But along with these travelers, we're going to be seeing explorers from Quebec and other North American countries who are just now. There's lots of them, so that's why this is going so quick. They're just exploring all of Europe and going back to tell the North American powers of their findings. And after a little bit, this is what they have discovered. Some people are starting to learn the languages of these regions and beginning to translate government documents just for Quebec and Carolina here. Now we're going to go to South America. Because South America, they obviously have heard the word of the birth of the new continent as well. Um, the strongest country in South America is probably, I don't know, maybe Brazil here. They're the closest to Africa anyway. And obviously, the countries on the west coast aren't going to be trying to go all the way up here because they don't know that Africa extends this far down. they think it's way farther away than it actually is, like double the distance away. So Brazil is going to go, nah, I don't need that. I think I'm going to stay right here and invade this pink country. And that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to invade into, go with Suriname here, even though the capital is in French Guiana. Anyways, they're going to invade, and it's going to go very well for Brazil, as the capital falls within a matter of days. And with only one major city left, yeah, Suriname's just going to surrender and get fully annexed, as the way of the Western Hemisphere. They will send some ships out in this general direction because they just want to sure, like maybe this content is actually like right here, and we can take a bunch of it. They're going to get like just shy of Africa, and then decide to go back. So Africa, as of now, is safe from the colonizers, as they're focusing on Europe instead. There was some battles in North Africa, but North Africa successfully kicked out Carolina. And that is all we're going to be seeing in terms of uh, American colonization for this video, as we need to update South India's colonization. See, last episode, when I went over all the disputed territories, I did miss one, that being this large disputed territory between South India and North Australia. South India is definitely a lot stronger than North Australia, and so they're going to go ahead and decide, you know what? Screw you, let's invade. Let me turn the brush size down. They're going to invade. Let me get maybe a more. Hold on. These colors are a little tiny bit too similar. Sure, that works. They're going to invade into these islands right here and immediately just pretty much just take all of them. Except for what's this? Timor. And they're going to take pretty much all of it except for Timor. They're not going to be able to take all of Timor. And this is where North Australia's army is going to hold out. And they will actually be able to successfully kick out South India. North Australia here, knowing South Australia. Oh, actually, by the way, let's go ahead and show. Hold on. How does those colors compare? Oh, yeah, they're different enough. Yeah. North Australia did already. Oh, tolerance. They did already control most of the disputed territory. They did control most of it. As a matter of fact, let's just say they controlled all of it. And from here, they are going to like take all of that and take lots of pretty much. Yeah, they're going to take the entirety of New Guinea. But North Australia knows that in the end they would lose to South India, and so they're going to look to the rest of Australia, who they all equally know the colonizing and the bad things that South India has done in their other colonies. For example, Malaysia, who is to this day getting desperately genocided by South India here. Yeah, a large portion of them fled to this country right here. Mm. Yeah, you're probably on the hit list then, buddy. I hate to break it to you. By the way, actually, before we get too far into it, let's update the Philippines. This country, they did get a bunch of the south here. Cambodia got these two islands here, and Japan just took the rest. So yeah, that's the Philippines done. And North Australia annexed a few islands off the shore of New Guinea. So, anyways, after this call out, East Australia, Central Australia, and Southern Australia will begin to send aid to North Australia to help fight South India. West Australia and Tasmania are going to hold out. Tasmania is not really that relevant, anyways. They're kind of doing their own thing over here. No one's even thought about them really. So very quickly, South India will make a new landing on New Guinea, and will take all of this area here. The two armies will just have a standstill over here. With the help of the other Australian nations, North Australia is going to be able to take back lots of their islands. They will not be able to take these westernmost ones, though. South India. Oh wait, actually, sure, they didn't get those ones either. South India is going to instead. They're going to send navies, like their navy, around here and make a landing on this island to get behind the navy of North India here. North Australia. Except it's not really going to work because obviously the navy is centered around like a line, like they're on a line like right here and like down there. So yeah, it's not really going to work. Update over here in Papua New Guinea. Everything's exactly the same. You know what? Let's actually go ahead and color in all this. Wait, no. I meant this. Actually, yeah, and this too. Because I can guarantee by the end of this war, this land is not going to be. By the end of this war, they're not going. It's not going to be disputed. Um, Even with the might of all of these Australian nations, minus Tasmania and Western Australia, they can't. They're not really doing much against South India here. They're even going to. South India is even going to retake a few islands. But that is until one key event happens. And that is an attack by Western Australia. Western Australia is going to join the war. They're going to join the war on the side of South India. Because, yeah, South India is promising them land and money, so, yeah, and they want that. And yeah, they're going to just completely destroy North India, because keep saying India instead of Australia. Because North Australia has all their forces focused up here, which is kind of stupid of them. But now Western Australia is just taking the whole thing. At the same time, they're going to begin a war with South Australia and take a good bit of that. And they're going to begin an invasion of Central Australia and take a city. There's not really much over here to take. Those get you a little darker. Oh, never mind. That's not the issue. The opposite. We need a little lighter. There we go. Yeah, 3 distinct shades. Yeah. Okay. So these 3 front lines are going to very quickly just going to connect. And South India is supplying Western Australia to basically just take the whole continent. This is going to catch everyone by surprise as the front line collapses. Southern India is going to retake pretty much. Yeah, they're going to take all of their land back in New Guinea, and they are going to begin a counter invasion. I guess not really counter invasion, an invasion into New Guinea, capture the only city on the island. So yeah, not good. Eastern Australia is going to help North Australia take back its capital, and there will be a large encirclement over here in the north, which will be a devastating loss to Western Australia. but it's not really going to change anything. Southern Australia doesn't have, like, they put a lot of their forces into North Australia, so this all collapses fairly easily. Central Australia wasn't that strong to begin with. These forces from South India are doing an incredible job in Western Australia. And then they're going to turn. Just get 3 different shades. Yeah, they're going to. South Indian forces are going to get behind Western Australian forces and then immediately just kill all of them in the middle of battle. Half of which are then going to turn around and begin invading into Western Australia itself. Many cities are going to immediately fall, as the Western Australian army pretty much just died right there. And yeah, Western Australia is donezo. With this, just the South Indian forces covering such a large area, uh, North Australia and the other Australian states are going to be able to take back a lot of their home territory while this is all happening in Western Australia. But once Western Australia capitulates, all those forces are going to immediately turn right back around and get right back onto the front line. Southern Australia will capitulate. Central Australia will capitulate. Northern Australia, after lots of fighting in New Guinea and in the mainland, trying their hardest to defend the capital, but nonetheless, North Australia will capitulate. And Eastern Australia will peace out. So, let's look at the peace treaty. And this is what Australia is going to look like. Northern Australia was completely annexed. Uh, Western Australia lost 2 territories that pretty much those 2 territories held like 60% of the population. Southern Australia got cut in half, so we're gonna have to do something there. And Central Australia lost most of their population. Not really most, maybe like half. But like 75% of the other half live on this river. And that would have just looked ugly on the map. So yeah, this is what. They also lost. Southern Australia also lost this city here, because why not? So, yep, Northern Australia doesn't exist. Central Australia lost their capital. Central Australia lost their capital, and Western Australia lost their capital. And Eastern Australia got off scot-free. This is where I'm going to be ending this episode because I've been recording for near an hour. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like. Be sure to subscribe. And yeah, see you in the next episode. Bye. Yeah.